So I thought I would talk today about growing up in a union family. My dad was a UAW worker at the Mack truck in Macungie, and he worked on the line there for probably 30 years. And I remember getting in the mail the Solidarity magazines, and it was the only magazine that came to our house. So I would see these magazines, and they'd be all shiny, and I didn't really know what they meant, but I know it was the one thing that my dad would sit and read. Um, and I knew that he was a union member, and that was very important to us. They talked a lot about you never cross a picket line, and that when my father was on strike because they wanted to move the company to the south where there were no unions, my father was very active in making sure that didn't happen. So my father and I never really talked a lot, but when I was teaching high school, I was a really active member in my union thanks to my dad. And when I was there, we went on strike over healthcare, which is what everybody goes on strike for, it seems like, in the public education system. And they asked me to be a strike captain. And I was obviously pretty young to do that, but I was really happy to do it. And that meant that I had a group of people that I had to organize and that I would lead the picket lines in front of the administration building. This was probably the one time that my dad and I had something to talk about. So I would often share with him stories about what it was like to be out on the picket line, what it was like to be there when 8-year-olds would hang out their parents' cars as they drove by the picket line and yell things like, "Get back to work, asshole," and throw pennies at us. And also the good parts where students would write letters on behalf of us, on our behalf to the school board. So being part of a union was really nice for me because it was a nice way to connect to my family that, sometimes we don't connect as much, with me being in academia and my family being really kind of that blue-collar worker on the line feel. So I always really appreciate being in a union because for me it's a way for me to be part of my family as well. And so now here I am in academia, and I am very happy to find myself back in a union, having been in graduate school and also having been a part-time employee at a different university. I often felt unprotected, and this was something as well that I think my family could relate to. So I was eager to sign my card on the first day of orientation and to again feel like I was part of something. So I look forward to that, and I'm happy to see what that means here, having been in a union at a different place and having watched my dad.